In this episode, the sex position that worked in your 30s may be the exact reason sex feels like less after 50. Because your body's pleasure map has physically changed and nobody handed you the new one. In this episode, I'm giving it to you. Sexy After 50. Improve sex and intimacy by healing your nervous system so you finally feel turned on and confident. Okay, so welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new here, yay, I'm glad you're here. If you're returning, yay, I'm glad you're here. 3 quick reasons to hang with me until the very end of this episode. I've got some good stuff set up for you. So reason number 1, you'll finally understand what actually changed in your body after menopause. The real physiology of vaginal geometry, tissue, and where sensation now lives. So you can stop blaming yourself for something that's anatomical. 2, there's one piece of newer research about the clitoris that rewrites the whole conversation about positions. And once you hear it, the best positions after 50, that question answers itself. And 3, you'll leave with a somatic mapping practice to find your own pleasure map and one specific warm thing to try with your partner tonight. Anatomy on your side this time, not against you. So, here's something no one sat you down and told you. In fact, y'all, do you remember? I mean, I'm 63. I did my driver's test back in the 70s. And where I'm going with this, sex is a skill, much like driving is a skill. We were taught how to drive, all the rules, all the regs, you went out and practice. No one taught us that sex was a skill and had us practice things and had techniques. So I'm going to give you some in this podcast. But here's something that we were not sat down and told. Y'all, the map has changed. The positions you, me, we learned in our 20s and 30s, the ones that I'm laughing, maybe our teens. Okay, no, the ones that reliably worked, the ones your body knew by heart, a lot of them were built on an anatomy you no longer have in exactly the same form. And when they stop delivering the way they used to, almost every woman I work with draws the same conclusion. Something's wrong with me. I'm broken. I've dried up. I've lost it. Girl, you've not lost it. You've been navigating a new landscape with an old map. And today, in this long episode, well, it's not that long. It's my Wednesday episode, but I'm going to hand you the new one, the physiology of what actually changed, the one piece of research that makes it all click, and then the practical part, how to find sensation now with the positions and angles that work with your body after 50 instead of against it. Clinical enough to be true, warm enough to actually use. Let's go. Okay, so we're going to start with a woman. Well, I'm going to tell you about a woman. One of my clients, I have her permission to talk about her. Her name has been changed. We're going to call her Mariel. And again, this is a composite. Details have been changed, but you may recognize her in yourself. And Mariel is 58. She's 2 years past her last period. She's married to a man she describes as a good lover. Honestly, that's what's so confusing, because sex had become, in her words, fine, just fine, like eating a meal when you're not really hungry. She told me the thing that finally sent her looking for help was one night they did what had always been their reliable move, the position, the rhythm, the whole familiar sequence, and she felt herself doing math. How much longer? Is this working? Why isn't this working? It used to work. That's that kind of little panic voice in her head. And afterward, she lay there and thought, oh, shit, Maybe this part of my life is just over. So I asked her to walk me through physically what she was feeling during that reliable old move. And as she described it, it became obvious. The position was built almost entirely on deep friction, fast, repetitive penetration forward. In her 30s, with plumper, more elastic tissue and a different hormonal backdrop, that had been plenty. But now, that same friction on thinner, drier, more sensitive tissue registered perhaps as irritation, not arousal. And it completely bypassed the structure that could actually light her up. Mariel didn't need to try harder. Neither do you. She needed a different map. And when she got it, she called it like someone finally turned the lights on in a room I'd been feeling around in the dark. So she'd been in a dark room. She got the information. The room lit up. So let's dig in. But first, I'm going to give you a real quick commercial. Don't leave me. It's just a few seconds because I'm just going to pause here. If you're realizing your body isn't broken, it just changed, I've got something for you. I call it my Desire Reset Guide. 3 short practices over 3 days that walk your body out of protection mode and back toward sensation. Y'all, it's free. It's over on my website, juliemerrimanphd.com/desire, or just hop on the website. I've got it in the menu. It's the perfect on-ramp to today's mapping practice. And if you want the whole framework, the science, everything, well, then you're going to want to grab my book while you're on the website. Okay, that's it. Back to the good podcast. I want to build a few clinical minutes into this podcast because understanding what this is dissolves shame. We've all been there, especially after 50, sex changes a little bit, and it's okay. Because after menopause, our estrogen has dropped, and estrogen was doing a lot of quiet work down there in the lady parts. There's 3 changes that matter the most for pleasure. 1, your tissue changes. The vaginal walls get thinner. They just do. They're less elastic and produce less natural lubrication. This is why fast friction, heavy, deep penetration, the thing many classic positions are built on, can shift from feeling good to feeling raw or just not feeling so good. It's not that you can't feel, it's that particular input now reads as too much of the wrong thing. Then we have geometry changes. With lower estrogen, the vaginal canal can shorten somewhat and become less accommodating to depth. So positions built on maximum depth and thrust can create discomfort, a bumping, bracing sensation, even a sharp jabbing pain, right where you used to feel pleasure. Angle starts to matter far more than depth. Then we need to consider sensation because it relocates, or rather its priorities shift. That was hard to get through. The priorities shift. Okay, so as deep friction sensitivity quiets down, the structures that respond to pressure, warmth, rhythm, and clitoral engagement become headline act instead of the opening one. The pleasure didn't leave. Its address changed. And that brings me to the piece of research that makes this whole episode click. So I'm not going to bury you in studies, but I'm going to give you one because it reframes everything. For generations, we were taught the clitoris was a small button, right? And even the number we quoted, 8,000 nerve endings, turned out to be an undercount. When researchers actually mapped the clitoris in fine detail, they found that the clitoris carries more than 10,000 sensory nerve fibers. 10,000. And here's the part almost no one teaches women. The clitoris is mostly internal. What you can see is the tip of something much larger, a structure with two legs called the crura, two bulbs that wrap down around your vaginal canal, hidden inside of you. So sit with what that means. The single most nerve-dense structure in the human body, more densely wired than the penis, mostly lives inside, wrapped around the vaginal walls, which means the positions that create real sensation after 50 are the ones that engage that internal network through pressure and angle, not the ones that chase depth through friction. The old map said, go deeper, go faster. The new map says the good stuff was wrapped around you the whole time. You just have to press on the right doorway. So let me set a frame around the practical part, because the body change is only half the story. In the framework I call chakra psychology, not mysticism, but a map of where emotional experience settles in the body. The sacral center, your lower belly, governs pleasure, sensuality, and receiving. And here's what I see in women at this exact life stage. As the body's map was quietly changing, most of us were busier than we'd ever been. Caregiving, working, managing everyone. We overdeveloped responsibility and let the sacral center go dormant from neglect. So the pleasure map didn't just change physically. Girl, it went unread. Nobody was home to notice the new landscape because we'd stopped visiting that part of ourselves entirely. Relearning your body after 50 isn't only anatomy. It's moving back into a house you'd shut half the rooms in, as we've talked about before. And that reoccupation is exactly what the next practice is for. This is a solo practice. Do it before you bring your partner in. Give it 15 unhurried minutes, private, warm. The room should be warm, door locked. This is your time. Lie down comfortably, hand on your lower belly over the sacral center. 3 slow breaths down into that hand. This is you telling your nervous system it's safe and off duty, which is the precondition for any of this to work. That root chakra has got to feel safe. Your body has to feel safe. Now, with plenty of lubricant, non-negotiable after menopause, your tissues deserve it. You're going to explore, not perform. No goal of orgasm. You're a cartographer today, not a tourist. You move slowly and change one variable at a time. Try pressure instead of friction. Press and hold rather than rub. Notice that difference. Try different angles. The internal clitoral network wraps around the front wall of the vagina. So pressure angled up towards your belly often wakes up something the old friction never reached. Try warmth and stillness. Rest your hand and simply feel the interoception muscle at work. As you go, narrate to yourself silently, warmer, cooler, more of that, not that. You are literally redrawing your map, replacing the outdated one of your bodies that has really been frustrating. That outdated one needs to go. This new one needs to take its place. When something registers as, yes, mark it. Remember the angle, the pressure, the pace. That's your new territory. That's the information you'll bring to your partner. Most women finish this and feel two things at once: a little emotional, a little furious that no one ever told them the map had changed. Both are exactly right. So I'm going to give you something sexy to try together. So you're going to bring your partner in with the new map in hand. I call it, you have the map. The setup out loud is everything. So here's what you talk to your partner about. Here's the script, because sometimes we don't have these words. I've done a lot of marriage counseling over the years, and I found that couples will feel a little self-conscious, embarrassed, shame about these talks. It's important to have these talks. And I invite you to have them dressed out of the bedroom in a place where no one feels blamed or shamed. But here's the setup. I've been learning some things about how my body works now. And tonight, I want to show you. You follow me. That single sentence flips the dynamic from performing for him to guiding him, which takes obligation off that table and puts you back in the driver's seat of your own pleasure. And he wants to know, he wants you to feel desirable, and he wants to feel desirable. These are great things for connection and bringing each other together. But here's the 3 principles built straight from the physiology. Angle over depth. Choose a position that lets you control the angle. You on top is the classic for this because you set the tilt and can angle pressure forward toward the front wall where that internal clitoral network lives. Side-lying spooning is the other winner. Shallow, close, warm, and takes deep thrust, discomfort completely off the table while leaving both his hands and yours free. 2, pressure over friction. Slower, grinding, pressure-based movement. Rocking rather than thrusting, engages the internal network and is kind to menopausal tissue. And direct clitoral touch, yours or his, at the same time. This isn't a detour from real sex. Given the anatomy, it is the main event now. Lubricant, generously, no apology. That's the 3rd principle. It's not a sign that anything is wrong. It's you respecting your current tissue so sensation can be pleasure instead of friction. And y'all, the assignment isn't orgasm. It's this. Run one position from the new map at half the old speed with you guiding the angle and just gather data together. If pleasure builds, girl, follow it. If it's simply more comfortable and more connected than the old way, you've already proven the map is real. So you do it more than once and watch what your body does when it finally trusts the terrain. Mariel and her husband spent a couple of weeks just map testing. That was her word. She told me the thing that came back first wasn't orgasm, it was play. The lights came back on in that room. And y'all know what? The rest followed. Okay, so I want to close with what your body now knows that it didn't know half an hour ago. One thing that's important to think about. Nothing is wrong with you. After menopause, your pleasure map physically changed. thinner, less elastic tissue, a shorter, less depth-friendly canal, so friction and depth positions of your 30s can now read as irritation instead of arousal. That's anatomy. That's not failure. Second, the pleasure didn't leave. It relocated. The clitoris is mostly internal. More than 10,000 nerve fibers wrap around your vaginal walls, and it responds to pressure and angle, not depth and speed. The new map says angle over depth, pressure over friction, lubricant without apology. And 3, you can read the new map yourself. The solo mapping practice shows you your own territory. The you have the map invitation lets you guide your partner into it, with you in the driver's seat and the anatomy finally on your side. You are not past your prime. You are not broken. You're not done or dried up. You've simply been handed a new body and never been given the manual. Now you have it. Go get to know that territory. It is yours. I'll see you back here on your terms, in your body, in this chapter of your beautiful life. Sexy After 50. Improve sex and intimacy by healing your nervous system so you finally feel turned on and confident.